Sony's E-10 is easily the most popular camera that has been released in the past 5 years. When it comes to total sale amounts, this again pretty much is in the #1 spot. So for a very cheap money, essentially these days, even for maybe a bit under 600 euros for the body plus the kit lens, you are actually getting fairly decent build quality, also fairly okay lens here, and also excellent spec on paper. So, and yeah, is it actually still worth it in 2026? So in my opinion, if you look at the camera, at the spec, it appears absolutely fantastic, but real life like usability obviously is completely different, and rarely ever anyone actually talks how it is to use this camera in real life. So in real life, in my opinion, it's the worst garbage possible really, and really unless you are extremely desperate, I do not think you should purchase this camera, because the usability, ease of use and the actual performance really is absolutely pathetic on this camera. So first, when it comes to good things, so the image quality actually on this camera is absolutely fantastic, and if you compare, for example, this camera versus maybe even like 3 or 4 times more expensive cameras, then the potential image you can get actually from this camera really easily matches even way more expensive cameras. So I think that's the best part about this camera, but getting the image, however, is a completely different story. So yeah, in this video I will cover all the actual negatives with this camera, all the problems, and can explain you exactly why you should stay away from this camera. So first things first, what comes to your mind when you talk about Sony cameras? Probably the excellent autofocus compared to other cameras, right? Well, that's really not the case with this camera. So obviously, again, this is probably the cheapest camera that you can get. If you compare this camera versus more expensive Sony cameras, then the autofocus actual performance difference is absolutely massive. So if you compare, for example, even this E-10 versus maybe like Sony A6700, then again, the actual performance, reliability and how good it is, it simply can't be matched between these two cameras. So the biggest problem is autofocus is extremely unreliable essentially, and also very dumb essentially. So it's not smart at all essentially. So pretty much the worst autofocus you can get. So when you are shooting videos like this, as I'm now essentially, when you're holding something in hands, again, it simply can't understand properly on which parts of the object to properly focus. So if I'm holding basically, for example, this flower here, instead of it focusing on the flower, it's simply going to focus maybe on my hand somewhere here. And again, in the settings, no matter how you adjust, again, it's simply like, yeah, it's the worst trash possible really. So if you're thinking you can maybe set this camera somewhere and maybe record yourself without monitoring actively the autofocus, and if everything is in focus, then nope, you definitely can't rely on this camera, as it's simply not like good at all, I would say. And again, so it properly can't understand on which objects, which parts to focus on itself. Also, basically the focus goes in and out, in and out. For example, if you are basically recording yourself, it may be like basically in studio setting where you're filming your face. Again, oftentimes it simply won't properly focus. Maybe it will focus on your arms somewhere, jump in and out. So again, it constantly loses focus, and again, it completely ruins your whole video essentially. By the way, again, in this video, I will mostly talk about the video performance. So I'm again mostly video guy. I do not care about the pictures at all. So yeah, whatever kind of videos you are thinking about making with this camera, either like talking head videos where you are recording yourself, again, it's simply not reliable and you can't rely on it. It will ruin your footage, it will simply go out of focus randomly, it won't focus when you need it, and again, even with shots like this, again, it's a complete faff to basically get it to focus on something that you would need. So again, no matter what you do with settings, how you try to actually fiddle with it, there's really nothing that can be done. So again, the autofocus performance of this one versus the more expensive Sony cameras, again, is wildly different essentially. So in my opinion, unless you are actually actively monitoring it and adjusting the focus all the time, keeping track on it, again, it's simply not usable at all. Then the next thing I hate about this camera is the absolutely pathetic screen. So not only it's absolutely tiny, but also the quality of it is absolute garbage. So you see, for example, if you compare it to a smartphone screen. So you see, like, what the hell is this? So again, if you are recording with a smartphone, you can obviously see very well, see the exposure very well, if everything is in focus as you need. But on this one, basically, yeah, again, when it comes to autofocus, again, in the screen, you can't really even understand if the object is in focus. So the screen is so bad in quality, so tiny, that again, it's almost impossible to understand the autofocus here, how it is, and also the exposure. So yeah, if you compare basically like a smartphone versus the screen of this one, so I mean, this is the worst unusable garbage possible, really. So yeah, when you are recording something, you again can't actually rely on the screen at all. The exposure will be completely different in real life, and the autofocus, again, you simply can't understand if the object is actually in focus using this absolute trash screen. By the way, obviously this is not only a problem with the E-10, but also pretty much most other Sony cameras. So unlike maybe something like Nikon ZR, which has got like massive 4-inch display these days, again, it's simply an absolute joke, both on the E-10 and all other Sony cameras. Then also the battery life is absolute trash as well on this camera. So this is the battery we are getting on it. So when it comes to real life runtime, when you are recording 4K videos, I'm getting roughly maybe 40 minutes. So yep, only literally 40 minutes. So really, unless you maybe do only some quick shots, again, this camera simply can't be relied. The battery runs so fast. Even if you get like multiple batteries, again, you will have to constantly worry when you need to change the battery, monitor all the time. So again, the battery life, in my opinion, is again the worst trash possible. So if, for example, yeah, you compare this camera again with a smartphone, on a smartphone, literally on a single charge, you're getting maybe like 5 hours of recording in 4K versus again, only 40 minutes on this garbage, really. Also another thing, you can kind of charge this battery while in use as well. However, the problem is with this battery, so again, the battery and charging is so incredibly bad on this camera that again, if you plug it in and you are thinking you can actually get unlimited recording time, then that's not the case actually, because the camera actually is going to run out of battery faster than it can recharge. So again, what the hell is this? So yeah, if you want to put it maybe on a tripod somewhere and record continuously, you can't really even do that. Even if you plugged in a charger, it's simply not possible. It's simply going to still run out of battery and shut down on you. Then also when it comes to stabilization, so there is no stabilization whatsoever on this camera. It doesn't have inbuilt image stabilization, and whatever options we get when it comes to stabilization, again, it simply won't help you in any like real way. So we can enable the active steady shot. That actually helps, especially if you also have the kit lens, which has got additional stabilization, but the crop is absolutely massive. So check this. So you see, this is how much is cropping in. And again, so unless you again use some kind of ultra wide lens, this is, yeah, like crops in absolutely crazy. So if you set it to standard stabilization, really, the footage is also incredibly shaky that the footage pretty much is unusable unless you actually use it with a gimbal or put it on a tripod, essentially. So if you want to simply like walk around with this camera, even if you try to like hold it very steady, there is simply no way possible how you can actually get stable footage. So again, it's probably the worst camera when it comes to the stabilization there is. Also, one thing that I do not like about the lens of the camera is an absolutely pathetic minimal focusing distance. So you see, we are getting 25 centimeters as the widest, essentially. So while something from Panasonic can actually focus at maybe like 15 centimeters, and you can get even better lens. Also, yeah, if you actually want to purchase a lens that can actually focus like closer than that, there is pretty much like zero choices in the market. There are maybe like 2 lenses, but both of them cost pretty much the same as the whole kit, the like camera plus the lens, essentially. So again, there is no cheap affordable lenses for Sony cameras that would have, again, like good minimal focusing distance. So for example, if I have to record videos like this, so like showing my hands, something in the hands, just like this video, again, you will struggle essentially with this camera because you will simply have to zoom in quite a lot just to basically push this camera somewhere far away from you, just to be able to get it to focus essentially. So personally, yeah, with this camera I use this kit lens, which in my opinion for a kit lens is actually very good, and also this Viltrox 25 1.7 essentially, so if I need larger aperture. So this is also like excellent lens for this camera. It costs maybe like $150 only, so, and provides also excellent like low light performance and also very nice bokeh essentially. So apart from that, for the kit lens I do not have that much problems. So it's also quiet. It doesn't like produce sounds when it's focusing, but yeah, the minimal focusing distance for what I do, again, it's almost unusable for me. Then also you might assume that this camera has got excellent microphones. So you see, this is actually the microphone like cover here. So you would assume the microphone is good, since also it says it's literally meant for logging. So you might assume again the microphone is good, but that's not the case. The microphone is absolute trash. It's completely unusable. So when you are recording yourself some kind of distance away, so it simply won't be able to record. The audio will be all over essentially. And even if you are close to the camera, as again the audio quality coming from the microphone is absolute trash. Also it has got terrible self noise as well, so a lot of stuff like that essentially if you kind of listen carefully. So in my opinion, this camera can only be used with external microphone. So we have input for the external microphone, over here. So that's good. Yeah, so if you use external microphone, then obviously not much problems. But yeah, you can't rely on the internal microphone. It's really the worst garbage possible on this camera. Also, before I purchased this camera, one of the biggest selling points, at least for me, was this product showcase mode. So again, literally mean for someone who is making videos like this, making review videos. So you can press this button and it will try to basically focus more on products. But really, again, this is completely unusable garbage. It pretty much like never works essentially. And yeah, so the performance actually is really bad. So again, probably a lot to do with the absolutely terrible autofocus of the camera. So obviously if the autofocus sucks, such mode also would absolutely suck on this camera. So again, it's completely useless and unusable really in real life. And yeah, also lastly, when it comes to menus, you probably already have heard this. Yeah, when it comes to these Sony cameras, the menus are absolutely terrible. If you want to find something set up easily, again, this is not that camera, essentially. So very hard to navigate, find something, choose something I see. Also, even though it has got touchscreen, we can't actually interact with these objects over here. So, and yeah, overall, should you actually get this camera? So, in my opinion, this camera is only good for someone who's like a complete beginner, who just wants a toy to play around with this, get to learn a camera. So if he wants a very, very cheap way how to get like a camera with potentially excellent image quality, then yeah, you probably can't find like a cheaper camera than this. Again, build quality is very good, so also handling grip, very good. But yeah, again, so I think this is literally just a toy essentially. If you want to get any like real work done, if you want to be like reliable, make like reliable videos for you. So essentially, if you need a camera that you can trust on, this is pretty much the worst trash possible really. And again, in my opinion, this camera really can be again only used on a tripod. So you can't really hold it, take it somewhere. Again, the footage will be simply unusable. So yeah, on a tripod somewhere, maybe again if you plug in the charger, but again, so yeah, probably if you have like 10 batteries with it and you charge constantly, and also if you use only the manual focus, again, so if you set the focus and use that essentially, then maybe it's good. So again, image quality you can get from this, and also the kit lens as well, I think it's good. So you really can't beat it at that price. But the actual performance, reliability, how it is in real life, again, I simply want to take this camera and throw in the trash essentially. And yeah, overall, unless you are extremely desperate and maybe can get this camera for pretty much for free, then again I would stay away from it. The headache with the camera is simply not worth it. So again, it simply won't give you any like reliable experience whatsoever essentially. So, and I absolutely hate that people say that this is a good camera because it has got good specs, and also, yeah, especially for the price. I mean, of course it has got good specs, so also potential image quality also is absolutely excellent, but they actually do not mention any of these negatives when it comes to actual real life usage. So I guess they simply do not use this camera actually. They use better cameras. They just look at the spec sheet and say, oh, it's good because yeah, sensor is good, like build quality is good, that means it's good. But yeah, in reality, again, this is like absolute joke in my opinion. And if you perhaps already have like a decent smartphone, you will have like 50 times better experience with a decent smartphone over this one, both when it comes to autofocus, reliability, workflow, how easy to use, how easy to get good results from it. So again, smartphone completely destroys this camera any day of the week, even though the sensor is nice in this camera. The actual like usability, workflow, and yeah, just how good it is to use, how reliable it is, it simply can't be matched really. So again, avoid it. Good luck.